Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know by now that I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today I'm taking a look at a lens which is both photography and video related. You use it for both, and I do use it for both. And the lens we're looking at is the, well, I'm going to say it up front, the fabulous Sony 70-350 G lens, but is made for the APS-C bodies. So it's made for the likes of this camera body. I've got it on my A6500 at the moment, and it's a telephoto lens for wildlife, even portraits. If you're doing it between like 70 to 105 and that kind of stuff, it's basically a telephoto lens. And I'm really enjoying using it. Although it is designed for the APS-C bodies, it will fit because it's E-mount. So it's a straightforward E-mount, you know, as you find on all the Sony cameras, well, apart from the A range of cameras, but standard E-mount, so it will fit on the, you know, like the A7 Mark III, the A7s, the A9s. But they'll be in crop sensor mode, so it's not really practical, to be honest. It might be practical with one of the, say, the A7R or the A7R 2 and 3, or even the 4, because it's a much bigger sensor, so it'll cut it down pretty much in half. But if you put it on the likes of the A7 III, you're going down to about 10 megapixels, so it's not really, you know, it's not really practical. I use mine on my APS-C bodies, and as I say here, I said earlier, I've got it on my A6500. I've also been using it on my A6600. In fact, the A6600 is what I've used it on mainly, only because it's a newer camera, nothing more than that. I'll explain though with the autofocus why this lens and so many other lenses do work so well on the newer bodies, such as the A6600. And I've got some images here which I'll quickly go through. I'll also put these images on my Flickr page. I'll put a link to the Flickr page in the description below, so you can take a much closer look at, you know, at the image quality that comes off this lens. Now, it's quite, it's not the lightest of lenses. You wouldn't expect it to be light. It's a G lens, so it's in the higher end as far as quality is concerned. And the weight of it is 625 grams. So, you know, it's reasonably heavy, but it feels nicely balanced on the A6500 and the 6600. They're both very similar sized bodies, they weigh very similar, and it's a great feel. It really is comfortable. I tend to shoot like this, holding the lens under the palm of my hand. That dates back to years ago, which is what we were taught many years ago in 35mm, when we were using 35mm film cameras. But it's nice and comfortable holding it like that. You can get to the zoom nice and easily, and it works well. The only minor thing, this isn't a criticism, it's just me. The only minor thing, I kind of wish the zoom was at the back and the focus was at the front, because I'm regularly going to zoom with the focus ring, and the focus ring is at the back here, the zoom ring is at the front, and I find that just, it's just me getting used to the way Sony have reversed the roles, if that makes sense. But the focus ring is nice and wide, it's a nice high quality feel to it, the same as a zoom ring. Now, I've not used this for manual focus, so I'm not going to go into if it is good for manual focus or if it isn't good for manual focus, because I quite honestly, I don't know. I've used autofocus. The reason being is because A, my eyes are shot to pieces, so autofocus I completely rely on, but B, the autofocus on these new Sonys is phenomenal. Even on the A6500, it's fast, it's snappy, and it's really responsive. So I have no issues using autofocus with this lens or any of the Sony lenses. But it is slightly annoying from my point of view that they've reversed the roles. So the focus ring, it's a big focus, zoom ring, sorry. The zoom ring is now at the front of the lens. And that's great, because it is, you know, it's still nice and comfortable to use. It just takes a bit of getting used to. It isn't a internal zoom, it's external, so it may pick up dust and crap as it zooms in and out. I doubt it, because it's so well made. And being a G lens, it's not a G master lens, but it's a G lens. So you're going to get really good quality optics, well, high quality optics. And it's really nice that Sony are supporting their APS-C bodies. We all wondered actually at one point whether they were going to drop the APS-C and go, you know, strictly work with full frame. But when they brought out the A6100, 6400 and 6600, it was reasonably clear that they were actually going to carry on developing the APS-C range. And then they brought out the 16 to 55 G or G Master lens, I think that is, f2.8. I haven't got that one. So it was quite clear that they are working on the APS-C bodies. But yeah, that's the, this is the actual lens. It has it has three switches on the lens. So you've got on the lens your autofocus manual switch on the side there. I leave it on autofocus. As I said earlier, I don't use manual focus. And it's got your optical image stabilization switch on the side there as well. Now, that's useful having it on a switch. You would probably want to turn it off if you're using the lens on a tripod. But other than that, I've left it on all the time. And particularly if you're going to use this lens on something like the 6100, the 6000, 6400, what other ones are there? You know, the bodies, 6300, the bodies that don't have in-body image stabilization. Because the image stabilization is great with this lens, works really, really well. I use it in conjunction with the stabilization in the bodies of the 6500 and the 6600. And I'm getting really pin sharp results throughout the whole range, and again I'll quickly show you. It has a zoom lock switch on the side here to lock it at 17mm. So when you're transporting the lens around, it doesn't trombone, it doesn't like move around. But again, I've never needed to use that lock switch. I find that it's so well made that it doesn't have a tendency of slipping. Maybe over age it might, I don't know. And then the only other switch on this side, which is great actually, great, it's better actually, I find it more useful on the 6500 than I do on the 6600, because it's in the body where you set what this button can do, because it is configurable. It's basically the button on the side here, just below the G. And there it is. And what that does is many different functions. You can set it up for ISO, focus switch. You need to go in the menu of the camera, a whole range of things. Now, on the 6500, I've got it set up for IAF because, unfortunately, on the older cameras, you physically have to push a button to get the IAF to work. And it's great on this lens because you just hold that in. So you're up to your eye or you're looking through the monitor, whatever. And it's so natural just to be able to hold it here, push that button in, boom, take the photograph if you're doing portraits or whatever. It is not, I say it is not, what does that really mean? It is not. As a portrait lens, at 70 to 105, it'd work great. I say great, but maximum aperture is f4.5. So you're not going to get a creamy bokeh, but it still is, you know, it would still be really good, but not really, really good, you know. So you can use this as a portrait lens, but just bear in mind it only goes down to f4.3 because it's a 4.5 to 5.6. I think it's 6.3. It's a really odd number, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it says here. 4.5 to 6.3 widest aperture range. So so that's not bad. And the thing is, if it had been f2.8, it would be much bigger and a great deal more expensive. I picked this up for 830 quid here in the UK or September of 2020. Prices will vary around the world. So that's why I never put prices in the description, because it depends on when you watch this video. So, you know, greatly made lens, great features with it. It has got optical steady shot. I think that's what the OSS stands for, optical steady shot. So again, very, very useful in bodies that don't have in-body image stabilization. And I would obviously highly recommend that you leave that switch turned on when you are, if you do want to use optical steady shot, there's that switch on the side there. 67mm filter thread. So fairly standard sort of size in this range of telephoto lenses. And I'll tell you why I picked up this lens. I picked up this lens because I've got the 18 to 105 G lens for the Sony cameras, and this is quite a bit lighter. This is 427 grams. Yeah, 427 grams. So it's quite a bit lighter. It's still classed as a G lens. It's a power zoom lens, so I've never used that feature. Basically, it's got a zoom switch on the side of the lens. But if you just had these two lenses, you know, that covers 18 to 350, which is a phenomenal coverage, isn't it? You know, just with two lenses. So, you know, and if you've got two bodies, that's, well, you're cooking, aren't you? Because I've got the 18 to 105 on the 6600 and the 70 to 350 on the 6500. And you can see with the lens hood on the 18 to 105, they're very similar sizes. They're very similar indeed, in width and in length. It's got a nice sort of fitting lens hood, clicks on quite nicely. Yeah, so, you know, quite a nice little beast. I do prefer using it on the 6600, and there's only one reason really, is the autofocus algorithms and the new autofocus systems in the 6600 are just that little bit better than the 6500. It focuses a bit, say snappier, but it's a bit more responsive. With animal eye detect built into the 6600, that's phenomenal when I'm photographing me cats. Because, you know, if we look at some of these photographs I've taken of me cats, if we get to them, let's go full screen on that. You know, the eye just picks the eye up beautifully. You still get a nice bit of bokeh around, you know, around the lens. It's actually really, really nice. Give that time to for the computer. It does this quite often, you know. You zoom in and the image looks soft, but I know it isn't. You see the eyeball there. You might not be able to on YouTube, but that is sharp. You might be able to see there. Look at that. Absolutely, even with obstructions going across the front of his eye. You know, these images are just so nice. They're so, again, plenty of bokeh in the background. Picks up. Look at the clarity of that. You know, it isn't an incredibly expensive lens. The clarity that you're getting from this 70 to 350, I think, is remarkable. I really do. I generally do think it's remarkable. These are all handheld as well. They're not, you know, on a tripod or anything of that nature. All these images are handheld. Just the colours, the sharpness, even edge to edge. I mean, you can't tell edge to edge on these shots because I'm zoomed in and there's bokeh, so you can't see how sharp it is. I haven't done a lab test to see how sharp it is edge to edge. I tend to do real world tests rather than, you know, lab tests. But I know by other reviewers, they've said in the lab it still performs, you know, exceptionally well. I mean, look, you can pick up all these cobwebs. Look how sharp those cobwebs are. Phenomenal. The bokeh rendition is quite nice as well. It's only a 7-bladed aperture, so you're not going to get a perfect circle with bokeh. It depends on what aperture you've set when you take the photograph. These are probably wide open. Oh, f6.3, so that would be wide open because that's shot at 350mm. So you can see why the bokeh is quite nice, because it is at its widest aperture. I mean, like 1/400th of a second. It's just so sharp. And this is what I love about the A6600, is its animal eye detect. It's just absolutely wonderful. It's so nice just to be able to go out and photograph, whether it be birds, cats, dogs, whatever it might be, and just get this gorgeous, gorgeous sharpness. And being that these bodies are 24 megapixel APS-C sensors, you're going to get a nice sharpness across the range, and you can print these images pretty big if you really needed to, you know. Yeah, as I say, I will put these images up on my Flickr page. so you can look at them in more detail. I mean, look at his eyes, just absolutely gorgeous. Let's just go back to something I spotted earlier, right, to give you sort of an indication. Let's go, right, take that full screen. Now that's at its widest, that's at 70mm, and zoom in on that, sharp, absolutely, you know, nailed it, beautiful. And then we go into, what was that one? That would be about mid-range, that's 200mm. So we've gone from 70mm now to 200mm, obviously standing in the same position. Again, nailed the focus. And these were just quick snaps. I weren't setting these shots up. Aperture priority, I believe, or actually may have been shutter priority, who knows. But, you know, nothing clever with these. And then 350mm. So you can see, look at the difference in the background. It's really, really brought the foreground into focus. And again, the sharpness is out of this world. I love it. Great sharpness. And you know, a great lens. Great lens for having your kit bag. If you do need to do video with it, or, you know, you're out and about and you've only got this lens with you and something crops up where you might want to do some video, I have actually done some filming in the office here. Take a look at this and see what you think about how well it renders video. I thought it would be interesting to see how good this lens performs in my environment where I do my product reviews. Now sometimes I do them in my home studio and I do them in the office here. Now in the home studio this lens wouldn't really be suitable, it's too long. I use my 56mm Sigma f1.4 lens at home because I haven't got such a distance I can actually move the camera away from me, otherwise it would be a really tight headshot. I've got a little bit more room here at the office, but it's not a lens I would use really for this kind of environment, simply because I can't get that creamy bokeh in the background. This lens only goes down to f4.5, where my Sigma lens goes down to f1.4, so I can get that lovely creamy background. I'm really enjoying this lens. I've got it set at the moment to 70mm. Obviously if I set it any more than that, I'd have to move the camera much further back, which is I will do, because I've got the room in the office here to take the camera much further back. So we'll do that in just a moment. But there we go, that's the camera set to 70mm here at the office. I've moved the camera as far back as I possibly can in the office, far short of knocking a wall down and putting it outside, but I've now moved it right way back. I've set it to 135mm. I can just see the screen. With my eyes, I can't see the screen too well, but I think I can see that I am framed okay. And that's a beauty with these Sony cameras, having the flip up screen. I don't have to worry about external monitors and all that kind of malarkey. It's absolutely great. So I'm still filming the wide on my A6100 here. With the, it's actually a Sigma 17-70 lens. It's a Canon mount fitted to it via the MC11 adapter. And obviously in the background, way in the background, is my Sony A6600 with the 70-350, and it's set at 135, and I'm using my Rode Wireless Go to pick up the sound. It'd be silly using a gun mic at this distance because it is quite a distance back. So it could, again, as I said earlier, could well be a useful lens in this kind of environment, although I don't think I would be using it in this sort of environment. So there we go, that was the a couple of clips shot in the office here, just with one light, lit by one light, and it renders video equally as beautifully as it renders stills. That was taken on my A6600, I believe. So there we go, that's just a quick overview of the rather excellent Sony G 70-350. Oh yeah, in full frame terms, by the way, that equates to 105mm to 525. So it's a very powerful range. So like these images you're looking at here, if that was shot on a full frame camera, that would be 105mm and that one would be 525. So, you know, a great range and a very compact size because it's APS-C. Wouldn't recommend it on your full frame bodies, but great on my APS-C bodies. So there we go. that's the lens. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoy these videos. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button if you like the content of this particular video. And stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. I really enjoy making these videos. I don't get paid by anybody for doing them. I do earn a little bit of money through YouTube monetization, but I've purchased all the kit. Everything you see demonstrated I've actually paid for. So it does help me grow the channel, and I really appreciate everyone who does subscribe, and you viewers are fantastic, and I love you all. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for now. Bye.